Hi, my name is Shannon Stott. I'm a professional improviser. I teach and use improv on and off the stage. I've been looking for a resource to tell me what it is that I'm feeling when I am improvising, because I love the experience and I love to teach the experience. And over the 20 years that I have been teaching, I have found tips and tricks, and I am understanding how people are reacting to what they're learning on stage. There's so many things to be learned about yourself, so many things to be learned about your life and how to move through it just by learning improv and doing improv. But I haven't found any resources telling me exactly what it is that I am sensing in myself. So I am making the resources. I got to sit down with a licensed professional social worker, Zach Patton, and we talked a lot at length about the things that improv does for our mental state, for our body, the things that it brings up inside of us physiologically. And it was an amazing conversation, and I hope to have more. In this particular segment of the conversation, we're talking about movement of the body, what movement does. There's a thing that I do that you'll hear in the segment where I start off the class with some movement. I've gotten pushback and questions and asks of why I do that, and instead of getting right into the improv or the class, why don't I just jump in? And for 20 years, I have known that there is a reason, and I can tell a difference in the class, but I haven't known until sitting down with Zach what exactly was going on. And here he explains it perfectly because he knows what's actually happening. He is a professional, and we will have many more conversations like this that I'll be releasing. So remember to subscribe, remember to like this video, and let me know what it is that you're experiencing in general, especially if you're an improviser, so that I can ask Zach and that he and I can collaborate and get back to you and let you know what it is that you're experiencing on a physiological level. All right, I hope that you enjoy this conversation. There are many more to come.
My name is Zach Patton. I'm a therapist here in Austin. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. And I have a private practice here in town, specifically serving people who've experienced traumas, oftentimes around abuse. I specialize in various mind-body therapies, as well as a lot of education around physiology and neuroscience, kind of to help people understand actually what's happening in the kind of the physiological processes of their body's experience, when there's kind of instances of triggers or stressors. Just kind of helping people understand what's happening inside of them is a big passion of mine.
One of the things I usually start out my class with is movement, and it is wiggling and moving of all sorts. I try to have people, I mean, it's really just an exercise class, right? I try to have people turn their heads and roll their shoulders and lift their knees to their chests and walk around the room, explore your space. There's also a lot of breathing. I invite people to take deep breaths into the space that they're carrying stress. Try to locate where they're carrying stress, breathe into that space, and then breathe out. And I've been asked many times, a lot of people don't use this technique, right, before class. And I've been asked by students and teachers, like, why take the 10 minutes, right? Because sometimes, you know, it's a long time. I try to really get people moving and breathing. Why take the 10 minutes to do that? Why not just get right directly into, you know, the games? Sometimes the games are fast and fun, and get into it. Be silly now. But there, I have found that after moving and breathing, people are more apt to listen. They are more apt to listen to me, the instructor, to each other. And I have found that they are more apt to say, like, this game or this thing isn't what I want to do. I try to invite people to be honest in class, like I'm feeling uncomfortable, sort of honest. And I have found that if I start class with feel free to be honest and tell me you don't want to do something. And then I'm like, zip, zap, stop, everybody do it, right? I People will never tell me. They will not tell me. But if I start class with all of this breathing and all of this walking around, and then say, feel free to tell me when you're feeling uncomfortable, I mean, 9 out of 10 times, 9 out of 10 people will at least once say to me during class, hey, this isn't my jam. Can I sit out of this particular thing? And yay, yes, please. Can give me a, you tell me what I'm doing. I think I know what I'm doing. But on a physiological level, what's going on there with that movement and the breathing that is making people, is it the same thing as play? Is it making people feel safe? What's going on
there? Yeah, well, my guess would be that you're making space for to help people's nervous systems come into that place of connection. In this moment, it sounds like it's primarily just connection with self. Although I would say that there's probably a kind of another tangible benefit of like 10 people are taking time to connect with themselves in the context of a group of people taking time to connect with themselves. So again, it's that notion of prioritizing safety and to take the time. I mean, how much time in a given day do we spend taking 10 minutes to really feel into what we're feeling? It's like I'm like embarrassingly thinking about when the last time I took 10 minutes for myself. It's like, oh boy. And so that's like, it's such a gift while also being a really uncomfortable gift for people who don't have that, that act in itself can trigger a sense of unsafety because it can be scary to slow down in that way. And again, that points back to past experiences of like, a person's body might hold like, oh, well, when I slowed down back then, this is when something bad happened, or this is when I let my guard down. This is when the worst attack, kind of the worst verbal attack would come in. But or when I slow down and breathe deeply, I get this one a lot of like slowing down can remind people of really kind of free falling into the freeze response and getting stuck in depression and kind of mired in the kind of the mud of that energy. So it's easy to just like, oh, let's do the activity. And then when it's time to slow down, they're like, no, I need to keep doing activities.
Yeah.
And so what this kind of exercise makes me think of is, you're creating that sense of safety and like a shared agreement of that, and then by making that space, you actually get people to pay attention to how they feel. And so if you like or don't like something, the only way that you can determine that is if you know what's happening inside of your body in that moment. Or sometimes it might happen like, oh, like 2 days ago when Shannon suggested that activity, I actually didn't want to do it, but it's like there's a big lag time. Yeah, it's like to express how you feel. The first step is feeling how you feel.
Right.
That's the step that's a step that either we often don't do, or many people just have never gotten that support and education around how to feel feeling. And so this is a moment of allowing that space. And for you as a facilitator, it sounds like you're also kind of having that moment of practicing what you preach, of like when you say that, but then kind of speed through the activity, then there's an incongruity between the words and kind of what you're embodying. And then when you say it and then actually kind of hold yourself and hold everyone else to it, there's that I would imagine implicit communication of like, no, this is serious. Like this is the value that we're holding and agreeing to as a group, and that your kind of safety is paramount.
I loved having this conversation with Zach. I learned a lot about how to teach and what to look out for when I am guiding my students through a class. It's important to me to make sure that students feel safe, that they feel accomplished, and they feel aware of what's going on in their bodies so that they can have a great experience in class. Having a conversation, a dialogue between the student and the teacher is an important thing to have so that both people can be successful in class. And that is what I strive to do when I am teaching. If this video was at all helpful for you, please like it and subscribe to the channel. You can even hit the bell and that will notify you when another one of these videos comes up. Zach and I talked at length about a lot of things. If you have questions, please let me know. If you need to contact Zach, please let me know. I would be glad to put you in contact with him. But other than that, I will see you on and off the stage.